Welcome, Lumineers and fans of the happiest card game on Earth. We're getting even closer to the Lorcana launch, and with it, the spoilers do not stop coming. It looks like we're very much into Frozen week here, so we're looking forward to seeing what other cards we get to see from Arendale. But not everything is from the Ice Queen's domain. We do have some other bits and bobs as well. First of all, the very blurry Minnie Mouse that we saw from the Berlin showcase last week now gets focused up in all of her glory. She's a one-costed inkable 1/3 for 1 lore in Ruby. Minnie Mouse, always classy. She's a Storyborn hero at common rarity. A Ruby version of the Olaf that we got very early on in reveals, actually, is a nice early body for Ruby decks. Much like some of the other vanilla cards we're going to see today, it's very difficult to really judge how much play these will actually see, but for now at least it's nice to see a cheaper costed card in Ruby. Also worth noting here, I think she's actually balancing rather happily on a beam within the Illuminary, the Great Illuminary, that looks pretty broken behind her. Definitely feel like we're seeing parts of the lore of the game trickling into some of these cards, especially in this next one as well. Another 1-drop, a 1-drop inkable 2/2 for 1 lore in Emerald, the Duke of Westerton, opportunistic official. He's a Storyborn villain at common rarity. The Duke of Westerton fleshes out the cycle of cards with this stat line. A 1-costed 2/2 for 1 lore is now found in every single colour ink. And there isn't really much else to say about him mechanically, but what I do think is quite interesting here is that he seems to be having a good old look with his magnifying glass at some of this purpley seaweed. We've also seen Detective Mickey checking this stuff out as well. As the Duke of Westerton says, there is something dubious going on here. I think it might be leading to the idea that Ursula might be the big baddie of the set. I'm not really a lore guy, but I'm still quite interested to see how they build it into the game, and I definitely think that some of these cards are telegraphing more of it coming soon. Next up, a much more mechanically interesting card, a 1-costed inkable item in Sapphire, the Scepter of Arendale at uncommon rarity. With the ability Command, you can exert this card, chosen character gains support this turn. Woo-wee, this one is spicy. Support already looks like a strong keyword. We've only seen it on 2 cards so far, Hey Hey in Amber and Merlin in Sapphire. And whilst it's clearly better on Merlin because the numbers are bigger, the fact that this card gives it to anything on your side of the board is really quite impressive. Not only that, it is a cheap item in Sapphire, which is going to matter to your Ariel Who's It collector decks, and you can even give Ariel support so that when she quests over and over again from you playing cheat items like this one, you're going to be able to make something else on your board really pretty powerful, giving it +3 each turn to really take something out on their side of the board. Really great card, this one. I still don't think it sees cards like Lady Tremaine or If It Ain't Baroque coming into play, both of which bring an item back from your discard. But if we start seeing lots more cheap, powerful items like this, you're going to see lots more item removal, such as Beast or Break, getting play, and then those item recursion cards are going to be much more playable. Just shows you how, 1 or 2 cards can really throw out what we have any sort of idea with this game, which is why it's quite tricky to do these kind of overview videos as stuff comes out. I think it might be interesting to go back once we have the 204 cards and we've actually got to play properly with them. It might be interesting to go back to some of these and see how right we really were. Next up, a 4-costed inkable 3/3 for 3 lore in Emerald, Hans Scheming Prince. He's a Storyborn villain prince at rare rarity. This is a really interesting one. 3 lore for 4 is the cheapest we've seen on a card so far. Doesn't have a terrible stat line, to be honest with you. If that willpower was 4, it would have been a lot stronger, I think. It would have got it out of the way of things like Smash and a lot of other characters around the same sort of pair as him. But as it stands, just 3 lore on a body, I think is really good. Again, until we've got the full set, I think it's going to be difficult to see how much some of these, vanilla cards really do see play. But 3 lore cannot be sniffed at. Maleficent, the Sapphire version, uninvited with 3 lore, is already seeing play, and she's more expensive than this one. So this may well go in. Also, it's just great to see some Emerald cards, easily the color with the least support so far. Talking of which, the last card revealed today, not from Frozen, actually from the Lion King. It is a 1-costed uninkable action in Emerald, Stampede. Deal 2 damage to chosen damaged character. This common card is a really interesting one. I think if this was inkable and if it didn't have the word damaged, it would be incredible, but I think this is really showing us how different colors are going to be better at different things. Steel is definitely going to be the color of targeted damage, so any other color that sees it is going to have it, slightly weaker or with slightly more caveats. So here we basically have a fire the cannons that you have to jump through a couple of rings to play. The way I see this card being played though is in those emerald decks where your opponent really doesn't want to swing into your stuff. Things like Cruella and the Cheshire Cat, who both benefit from being challenged into, but may well keep the thing that challenges into them alive. Just the sort of fear of having that one ink up to be able to play a Stampede and finish something off could be quite strong. But honestly, this may just be a little bit too situational. We really aren't going to be able to tell until we get some more Emerald cards, which I hope we do through the rest of the week. For now, at least, I would love to know what you think about the lore of these cards. Do you really think this Seaweed is something? And does it point towards Ursula? Does it point towards somebody else that I'm not thinking of? Let me know in the comments. And of course, like and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff. Until the next one, be good.